Hello everyone, welcome to MeroSiksha. I'm Vivechana Sharma and I'm here with the content entitled Causative Verbs. So the title itself makes us clear that we will be talking about the verb, we will be talking about something that talks about the action, and the word causative makes us clear that we are talking about the action that is caused by someone or because of the presence of something. But let us find out what exactly this causative verb does. So the causative verbs are verbs, of course, that shows the cause of a particular thing. So these are the verbs that talks about or that's present us about the cause behind the particular action or event. So in simple term, we can understand these causative verbs as verbs that are used to express that someone or something is responsible in causing the particular action or the event that is happening. So behind the occurrence of the particular event or the action, someone or something is responsible is presented by this particular causative verbs. So now here the subject causes the action to occur but does not do it by themselves. So they make such a condition that the actions take place or the actions occurs, but they present as if they were not responsible in presenting that particular action. The most common causative verbs that we can be familiar with are make, get, have, and let. These are the four causative verbs, and these four causative verbs are used for different causes or the different actions or the events. So now when we use make, when we ought to talk about something that are caused with the imposition of the force. If somebody is forcing you to do something, we use the causative verb make. So moving on, we use have or the get as a causative verb when we ought to talk about the idea of paying for the service, and we use let when we are talking about when we refer to the idea of giving permission or permitting somebody to do something. Similarly, we can use have and get when we are to talk about the ideas like ask, when we are to ask for the permission in order to make something happen, or in order to convince the people, or we can say in order to persuade the people as well, we use have or the get causative verbs. So now let us find out what exactly are the uses of these causative verbs and what are the grammatical structures. So by understanding with the use of the causative verb, you also have to be familiar with the grammatical structure that we are supposed to use when we are using those causative verbs. First of all, let us talk about this let. As I already mentioned before, we use let when we talk about the permission. When we provide permission or when we let something to happen, we use let. And talking about the grammatical structure, we use let along with the person or a thing, and after that we use the verb, but the verb should be used in a base form. That is, we are supposed to use verb 1 only. For example, the example is I don't let. This let is the causative verb. My children display is the base form of the verb 1, and then video games. So in this particular sentence we have this late causative verb, and we are using this late causative verb in order to indicate the idea that this I, which one is the speaker, controls or influences the action of playing. So the I is in a dominant position, and the I have the control over the action of these children playing the video games. So this is how it works. So moving on to the next causative verb, that is make. We use make when we talk about the imposition of force, or when we want someone to do the particular action, or either we make this use when we are to impose that something has to happen even though the person is not interested in doing so. The grammatical structure, we use make. Along with the make, we use again person, because we don't usually make person do something. We don't usually make something to do something, we just make person to do something, and then again we use over here the base form of the verb. So for example, here subject is the police and the police made here pronoun, that is him, to pay for the damage he caused. So what is happening over here in this sentence, this made is used in order to make clear that the speaker policeman or the subject in a sentence policeman is making this particular him what to do, to pay for the damage that the person has made. So the here this he is imposed force in order to pay for the damage that the person has caused. So we use, whenever we are using the verbs force and the require, and when we have this causative verb make, then we are to use to infinitive and then the verb. You should be very much watchful about the ideas that you use whenever you are using the causative verbs, because one mistake can also make your answer incorrect. So now let us move to the another idea, that is have. So we use have when we are to give someone else some responsibility in order to perform some particular task. So the grammatical structure here, we have two grammatical structure. One grammatical structure is used whenever have is connected to the person, and another is used when have is connected to the thing. So let us talk about the first one. Let us mark this as the second one. So here we use have whenever we are using have with a person, we use base form of the verb. Let us talk about the example over here. So here I will, have is the causative verb over here, my assistant, this is referring to the person, that is noun. Call, we are using the base form of the verb you to reschedule the appointment. So here this I is making this assistant perform the act of calling to you in order to reschedule the appointment. So in the same way, when we use this have along with the thing, we use past participle form of the verb. That is, here Rob, what is Rob planning to do? Rob is having, he is having his house, which is indicating noun, but this one refers to the falls under the category of thing, painted. So we, as I mentioned before, we use the past participle form of the verb, so which is painted is the past participle form of the paint, and then we use the rest of the sentence. So here what is Rob doing? Rob is having his house painted. So as this house is referring to the idea of the thing, we are supposed to use the past participle form of the verb, that is painted. So now this last one, we use get as well, and we use get when we are to convince or when we are to encourage someone to do some tasks. So now here, talking about the grammatical structure, we use get along with the person, and then while using get we are supposed to use to infinitive and then only the verb. So that is, here we have the example, Julia got her boyfriend. Here this got is the causative verb, so this boyfriend is the person, and then boyfriend, what did Julia made her boyfriend to do? Julia made her boyfriend to buy her a ring. So this is how this causative verb works. So if you practice much more, it will be easier for you guys. So thank you.